Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ashley and it's been a hella long time since I have been on here. I've just been going through a lot. But we are going to plan this week out, and I think I'm just going to do something super simple this week because I haven't been planning in this, and I haven't really been planning very much lately because I have been just going through it, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But I was keeping up with it so well, and then it got like towards the middle of the year. As you can see, like I just kind of dropped off the wagon. But I'm going to plan out the rest of this year, I think, and just kind of see where the wind takes us. So I'm going to take these pages out. It's just been an interesting year, especially like an interesting past few months. And yeah, so I think I'm trying to decide. I probably should have decided before I got on camera, but you know how I am. Never do I do that, do I? I think I'm going to use like some of these, like this Paper Studio Nature book, and I usually take it out of the booklet, but for whatever reason I haven't, and I'm just going to kind of play with some of these things and use these, I think, because why not? I need to, and yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so we're going to go with that. And there's some little boxes down here too. I know that I have some washi somewhere that matches this perfectly, but do I know where the frick it is? No. There's a good reason for that too, so let's just get into it, and I'm gonna see where that washi is and if I see it quickly. I have some washi like right here beside me, but I don't think that it's in here for whatever reason, because I feel like this would be the obvious choice of where I put it, but it's not here. So let me go look and see if I can spot it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so these aren't the ones I was looking for, but these will do just fine. Y'all, it has been a very chaotic life for me lately. Just saying. I have been going through it, okay? Let me see if I can find... Here we go. It's this one here. My days of the week and all of that jazz. Little sticker book, because we're going to need some. Y'all. Okay, so me and my family have been going through, hell, basically. So my husband, like, basically, he was an independent contractor for a moving company. He made lots of money his first year doing it, like a lot of money. I mean, it may not be a lot to some people, but it was a lot to us. And then it just like dried up. Now, there's a lot of reasons I feel like that happened, but it just basically like dried up and never recovered. What's funny is that after COVID is when it like boomed, but then like it just completely dried up. And so he was not making money. It ended up to where like we were spending money for him to work there, and I'm being dead serious. Like, when I say that, it sounds crazy, but like I mean it 100%. Like, we were spending money because he had to have labor and things, you know, to be able to work there. And so he had to pay out money. This is the 12th, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll use... I'm trying to decide what date dots versus... I think we'll use these. Okay. Anyways, so he was paying money to work there because once he paid his labor, like he was spending money. and it just was not working. Like, obviously that's not going to work. I mean, there were months where we made like no paycheck at all, and it was like we were losing money with him working there. So he had to leave, and I won't go into all the details, but basically, like, we had put in money there into his escrow, and they kind of like screwed him out of that, and he didn't get any of it back, and we were counting on that to kind of live in the meantime, and he didn't get any of it, and things just kept going wrong. Like, everything we thought we could count on was just like disappearing. Well, so we decided to move out of the home that we were in. It never really was us to begin with. We lived in suburbia in an HOA, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what most people love and want, and oh my gosh, this is amazing and dreamy. But we rented a house there, and it was just really big. It was like 3,000 square feet, and I know we have a big family. We do. We have 6 kids, so I know we have a big family, but it just was like too big. You know what I mean? Like, too spread out, not homey, not cozy. It wasn't our personality. And like, there were never any kids playing outside. Like, everybody was always shut up in their house, like super quiet all the time. It just wasn't us, okay? And my kids are like, I mean, I don't know, they're like feral boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we homeschool, they're home all the time. It just didn't fit us ever. And so we decided to move closer to our church, closer to this little quaint small town. And we did. I found a house there, and it was just this little bitty, like, I don't know, I think it was like 1,438 square feet. And just this little bitty house, and we absolutely loved it. I made it super cozy. We moved, and it was hell because we have a huge family, and it was a butt to move. It was a pain in the butt. Our friends helped us, and we got everything moved or whatever. We used Joshua's truck because he hadn't left that job yet when we moved. He hadn't quite made the decision that he was going to leave for sure. And so, we were able to use his moving truck, and all of the things. Okay, so we moved, and we were super excited and super happy. And then he had to leave his job, and it was just costing us more and more money. It was really rough. And then we ended up getting really sick, and we just kept getting sick and kept getting sick. And I was like, okay, so I figured at first it was just like allergies or whatever, because the weather's changing, and we have allergies anyways. But then, like, it would not go away, and we were on all these antibiotics and breathing treatments and all these things, and like, it wasn't going away. It was getting worse, and we ended up having to take our smallest, our 9-month-old at the time, to the ER, and he was really, really bad. They were about to have to admit him into the hospital because they couldn't get his respiratory rate down and his oxygen up. Like, everything was horrible. Why did I not think this through before I did this? I had in mind that I was going to put them above, but then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And now I'm having to switch it out. Anyway, so we had to take him to the ER. We had to take him to the doctor a couple of different times because he just couldn't breathe, and everything was terrible. His chest was distended. Like, it was bad. He was just struggling, wheezing super bad. And so I was like, what is going on? Well, we have dealt with mold before. I don't know if you guys remember that. If you've been watching for any length of time, I've probably gabbed about it because I like talk to you guys and tell you everything. All transparent here. And so we kind of, I just had this feeling. I was like, oh no. And the more we stayed in the house, the more I started finding stuff out. Like, they had switched out the HVAC unit to a more modern unit, and when they did that, the house is really old. It was like built in I don't know, I can't remember, like 1940 or something like that. It was really old, And so it was floor vents, and when they changed the new HVAC system, they changed it to ceiling ventilation, which is fine. They didn't feel like crawling down under the house because the crawl space was super small. They didn't feel like going under there and messing with the ductwork under there, so they just redid the ductwork in the attic and made ceiling vents, which whatever. But they never capped off the bottom, so all of the air from the crawl space was just like seeping into the house, pouring into the house. It was just wet. It was wet in there all the time. My couch was always wet. Just like this damp, wet feeling. The blankets were wet. The pillows were wet. Then we started noticing that things were like mildewing and molding. So like clothing, pillows, blankets, like all this kind of stuff was like mildewing and molding just from being in the house. And we were having to throw stuff away. And so when the boys like kept getting sick over and over, I like told the landlord, like, okay, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. Well, then we had like this super bad cold snap where it was like 30 degrees. I don't know. In Alabama at the time of year, it's really cold. And so my kids were already sick. And then we find out that we have no heat. They never connected the heater when they did the HVAC system. And like, we weren't told that when we signed the lease. Like, we were told it had working heating and air. So that was another thing that was like, are you freaking serious? So then we're like, okay. Well, then we find out like they're like coming to fix these things that are happening, but they're not sending like any professional to do any of it. It's like this handyman, which that's fine, like just a maintenance guy that he had hired, the owner or whatever. And we're working through a property management company, and then the owner is like the one hiring out this handyman guy. So it's like, okay, whatever. So he comes out and like he has to get other people out to like do the heater and all of this, and it takes like over a week. So they give us like space heaters because we've complained, right? I mean, not complain, but we're like, okay, well, it's getting a little cold. I mean, okay. And they can see we're getting a little irritated, and so like they give us these space heaters or whatever. But meanwhile, the house is like wet. Like when I put my dish towels and like washcloths and things in the kitchen drawers, they're wet when they've been in there for a day. Like they're wet. And so it's like, this is not normal. Like food is going bad, like bread is going bad when it sits on the counter way before the expiration date. Like all these things are happening. And I'm just like, okay, this is not normal. So meanwhile, we're taking our kids to the doctor and we're like, why are they not getting well? And he's like, well, Ashley, I mean, we've been through this before. I feel like we told him that we moved into an older house, and he was like, I mean, we've been through this before. I feel like it's mold. And we were like, yeah, that's what we were afraid of. So the maintenance guy comes to fix the ducts and stuff. And while he's there, we find mold. Like we find it, my husband and I, we find mold in the kitchen. And we're like, that's mold. And so he takes off the trim piece, and it's like black, and there's mold everywhere. Okay. So, I mean, obvious furry, fuzzy mold. If I remember, I'll stick a picture in here. But it's like, okay. So we, we're like, okay, this is fan-freaking-tastic. And so we like show him, and he starts taking it apart, and he's like, well, I'm gonna have to dig into it deeper to really see how extensive this is. And like he's talking to us like, yes, that's mold, like look at it, you can see it with your eyes, it's mold. So the property manager comes out there, she sees it too. She feels my couch and feels the fact that it's wet, and like she's just trying to downplay it and act like it's no big deal. So I can already tell like this is a mess, you know, because I'm thinking in my head, like, if you're downplaying this part where we can obviously see black mold, like you can see it, then how do I know that it's all gone? Like, how do I know that we have found it all and it's all gone, and that like we're not going to have this issue again and keep getting sick. And she's like, we'll just have to trial and error it. We'll have to, and he's like, I'm going to have to take the baseboards off and then see if that's molded. And then I'm going to have to take the cabinets out to see if it's molded on the floor, because it has a source. Like it's either this or that or whatever. It may be in the walls. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like you're talking like demolition, okay? And so we go to take the kids to the doctor, especially Evander, who's now got pneumonia. So great. Like, it's just, his is getting continuously worse. Like, it's worse and worse and worse. At the hospital, when he was having such respiratory distress, he did not have pneumonia. Now he has pneumonia. So we're like, okay. So the doctor's like, do not let them take anything apart, because that mold, all the spores are just going to be more airborne. It's going to contaminate any clean air you do have. And then it's just going to be like more direct contact, and he could die. Like, seriously, like, with as many problems as he's having, like, it's very dangerous for his health to do that. So that's what I tell them. And they're like, well, you have to let us do whatever we want in the house, and you have to let us in and let us do it, or you are in violation of your lease and you can get out. And we're like, are you freaking joking? And we're like, okay, well, can you like put protective something over our belongings and like put us up in a hotel or like another rental that you may have for the time being until the mold's taken care of? And they're like, absolutely not. And we're like, what? And they're like, no accommodations are going to be made. Like, this is not, we're not doing that. Like, no. And we're like, okay. So we just, like, just nothing. Like, you're just gonna like come and like take it all out, and then like we just kind of have to deal with it. Like, I don't understand this. This is, and they will not budge. Like, they won't do anything, period. Like, nothing. They will do nothing. And so we're like, okay, well, we can't risk like our child being subjected to more things. Like, and so they want like all this stuff in order for us to not be in the house. Like, so we're like, well, we have to find a new place to live. Like, if you're not going to take care of this, they won't bring in a professional. They want the maintenance guy to just come in and start ripping stuff out. They're going to do a home test for mold, not a professional test, no professional testing, like just a random Home Depot special, swab test that they're going to do to see if there's mold in the house, which I already know is going to be bullcrap because they don't want to do all that work on it. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, mold is a serious issue. Your house is going to deteriorate if you don't take care of this. Like, you would think he wants to take care of it, but no, he does not. So it's just like, are you freaking joking? And we're like, well, can we have a professional do this? Because I don't trust that this is going to be accurate. And then we're going to just be putting our kids at risk because we're allergic to mold. Like, anybody, it's gonna mess with you, it's gonna hurt you, it's gonna harm your breathing, it's gonna affect you. But we are like severely allergic to mold. Like, we just are. Like, we've been through this before where we were so sick. It was the worst. I've had mono, a horrible case of mono, and it was much worse than that. Like, just being in the mold. And so, like, it's a nightmare, right? Like, it's just a flipping nightmare. And I end up finding us a new place to live. Again, this is 6 weeks after we've moved into this place. We just paid rent on October the 1st, and we found the mold October the 5th, right? So I find a new place to live. We go look at it. Like, we tell the landlord the situation. It was just really a God thing that we found this place. But the owner is like dangling our deposit and all the things in front of our face that he may give it back if we do this, 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 and this. So we jump through all the hoops. I scrub that place down. Like, it's making me super sick. I can't wear my contacts. Like, my eyes are infected because of the mold. But like, I stay in there and like clean it and do all this stuff to it. I had laryngitis for over 3 weeks where I like couldn't talk at all. I still sound pretty scratchy, but that was like a month and a half ago, and I'm just now sounding like this, where I was like not able to talk at all. And yeah, it was just insane. And so he like refuses to give us any of our money back, like, period. He kept every single dime, so we have to pay to move all over again. We have to pay to get the power transferred, pay for this, pay for that, pay for this, pay for that. Like, it cost us like $3,500 to move again after we had just paid almost $4,000 to move. 6 weeks later, we had to pay $3,500 to move again. and we had just paid October's rent. We had to turn around and pay it again at the new place and the deposit. And y'all, my husband's out of a job. We did not have the money, but we had to do it for my baby. Like, we had to. There was like no option. So yeah, it's been hell. Like, it has sucked. And I just set up a home and I had to tear it all down and set it up in a new place. Like, the work and the exhaustion was real. But above that, just like the financial stress we've been under has been absolutely insane. It took my husband 4 months, I think a little over 4 months, to find a job where when he started looking for a job into finding one, he was completely out of a job for 2 months. It's been hell, okay? Like, I'm not gonna lie or sugarcoat it. It's been absolute hell. And like, we've had to have like help from people that like couldn't really help us but had no choice, because my family like has stepped in and helped us, even though they really didn't have it to help us either. But like, what were we supposed to do? We had to like get out of that situation. And so they did help us, but like, it's been horrible. And like, now we're starting from like nothing. Every dime we had is gone. And then some, right? Like, we owe my family all this money to pay back. Like, Christmas is next month and I have 6 kids. Like, y'all, I'm not lying like when I say that I am really nervous and terrified because I don't know how they're going to have a Christmas. Like, I don't really know what to do, to be honest. I really don't. I just, it's just been hard. It's been really hard and really terrible. And yeah, I don't know. It's really been rough for us. Now, he just started his new job yesterday, and I'm truly hoping and praying and believing in all of the things that it's going to be okay. But I don't know how. I can't tell you how. I'm believing it's going to be all right. But it's been really, really bad. And I don't want to have to tell my kids, like, I'm sorry, but we don't have anything for Christmas this year. Like, I don't want to say that. Like, I don't really know what to do. I really don't. I don't really know what to do. You know, when you start from nowhere and you're so behind, like, it takes a while for you to catch back up. So even though he has this job, like, it's going to take a bit for us to get our footing, and Christmas is just a few weeks away. So I'm really stressed, really worried about that. And I just have not been in a creative headspace for obvious reasons. But I do find that this is my therapy and that you guys are so helpful in my mood and things like that. But y'all, like, I'm just trying to trust in the Lord that He is faithful and that He knows the desires of my heart to provide for my kiddos. And I know that there are lots more trouble in the world than some Christmas presents, but y'all, my kiddos they've been going through hell too. And they're not stupid. They know when mommy and daddy are stressed out and we're going through it. And they've been such huge helps and all of the things. And it crushes me to think that we can't provide Christmas for them. And I'm terrified because I really don't know what to do. But that is where I've been at. I know that was super depressing and I'm super sorry, but that's where I've been. I've just been in the trenches, you guys. Like, it's just been awful. In our state of Alabama, there's not anything that you can do because landlords are not held to any certain kind of law or standard when it comes to mold being in a home. And I don't understand that. I really don't. But there's not that much we can do about it. We've talked to a bunch of different lawyers and none really will take our case, because it's not really just a cut and dry kind of thing. And so they don't really want to take our case and they don't really want to do anything about it. And it just kind of is what it is. We just don't get anything back. If that's what he chooses, then that's what he chooses, and we don't get anything. I've talked to the owner himself. I've tried to reason with him. He was very horrible to me. He's like a dentist in the next town over, and it's been insane. Like, I can't even understand. He has small children, so it's been crazy, and I don't get it, but you know, it is what it is. He acts like we're like trying to scam him or be crooks about it, and I'm like, dude, like, why would I pay you rent and then your people see the mold and then I move? Like, you know, you would think, like, if I was trying to get one over on you, I just wouldn't have paid the rent. And then it's like, oh, I can't pay rent. Oh, well, there's mold in here, so we gotta move. Like, it's nothing. I paid you rent and then found the mold. I wasn't trying to skip out on you, wasn't trying to do anything. Like, I honestly, like, obviously, I'm telling you the truth. There's nothing to suggest otherwise, and he still won't. Like, he still won't. Like, nothing will convince him to, like, do right by us and give us our deposit back. So, yeah, we're just in a mess, and that's where we are. So, again, I wasn't trying to be like a Debbie Downer or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of tell you guys what's been going on, because I have been gone for a little bit, and I have just not, like I said, been in the headspace to film and do things, but I'm really trying to pull myself up out of the gutter, out of the ashes, and like just kind of get back up. And I don't really know how still, and I don't even really know what to say, but we're trying, you know, we're just trying to do our best and do our best by our kiddos and just do the best we can to keep going. And that's really all you can do. So, yeah. So if you're struggling, I feel you. I feel you. I started watching a couple of kiddos and babysitting on the side so that I could like make ends meet a little better. And there were issues with that. Like, it's not my story, so I won't go into it, but like just not good things that happened out of that. And so I'm still watching one of them, but I couldn't watch the other one because crazy stuff happened. And my kiddo, the 3-year-old, has been having really bad problems with me watching other kids, like, just acting out. And, you know, I'm sure the stress of things don't really help, because I know that he knows he's not stupid, and he knows, you know, there's something going on, and it's stressful, and mommy and daddy are stressed. And so I'm sure that's not, you know, helping the situation. But he has just been, like, acting out and going crazy. So that's been a thing. And just, I think the attention part of it, like, he's just been acting out for attention and things, because I am watching other kiddos, but it's just been crazy. And, you know, then just the stress of it all. It's just been really, really rough. So I'm hoping that this next year is better than this one, because these last couple have been doozies. I'm not going to lie to you. So here's to hoping it gets better for us all, because I feel like it will. I feel like there's something coming on the horizon. It's just a matter of being patient and bearing down and making it to that point. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let's just hold on. If we can just hold on tight for the ride and just grit our teeth and get there. If we can just do that, then we'll be okay. Okay. So, anyways, I obviously am not in any place to purchase new planners, but my precious planner friend, and she started out as a planner friend and then just became my dear friend, Tanya, has gifted me a few planners that she isn't intending on using, and it has been a huge blessing because she has given me lots of choices and things to play with, and it's going to be super fun. So I'm excited to get the new year set up and started. I just feel like I need a fresh go of things. You know what I mean? Like, let's just redo everything about how we do everything in life and see if that works, because this is not working out. So let's redo it. So I'm trying to kind of redo how I, not redo, but I'll say like revamp how I organize things and how I plan a little bit, and how I you know, just obviously using what I have and using it in a functional way. And I don't know, I'm excited to, and kind of redo how I do homeschool planning and things like that. How I do that is not effective. My ADHD brain is just not good with it, honestly. I don't stick to the same thing every week, and I need to, so I'm trying to kind of revamp how I do things, and maybe I'll like want to do it each week or make it make sense in my head, so I kind of have to. But yeah. Okay, so today is Tuesday, so I'm going to go ahead and write a couple of things down. Yesterday, I am going to put Joshua's first day. It wasn't his, like, for real first day, because he just had to take, like, a bunch of tests and stuff, like safety tests and stuff like that. Do a background check, a drug test, all of that kind of stuff. And so it wasn't, like, his first day of work, but it was his first day of work, getting paid for it, you know what I mean? And then I did watch that kiddo from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Do the same thing today. Okay, and then Joshua needs to get a vacuum belt. That's where he is right now. And then a screws for the TV. I'm just going to put hang TV, because he has to get the screws for it. He lost the screws for our mount, so he's going to get that. And he took Evander. That's why I'm able to film, because it's actually quiet. Everybody's still asleep. I don't know what time it is. It's probably like 6:45, 7 o'clock at this point, and everybody's still asleep. And that little guy fell asleep again, because, 4 a.m. to wake up is super early for a little guy. He's only 2. So sometimes he does fall back asleep. Sometimes he doesn't. Okay. But he's been sick, so he's exhausted, I'm sure. Okay, so that was that. What else happened yesterday? I did church errand, and then I got pulled over because we haven't gotten a tag for our new car, and it's been past the date, but of course we can't really afford that right now, so we're just kind of waiting to get a tag. And I got pulled over, and he was so kind and nice to me. I think it was just God knowing I couldn't afford a ticket. But then Joshua got in an accident yesterday because somebody pulled out in front of him. Luckily, it didn't damage our vehicle. Luckily, it did damage theirs a little bit. Luckily, we have good insurance, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't. Like, it's just so much, you guys, has been piling on. Okay, I'm going to put that, Joshua. Not that it's a to-do, which I can hear him coming in now. That's all I can think of. And then today, I do need to do laundry, and I need to give the kitchen a really good clean because it's a mess. And then everything else is pretty clean. Okay. This will be church. And then So I want this. And then I'm going to put Revival because that's a little bit different. And this is, I'll have to put a little icon here somewhere. I'm just going to put it right here, and I'll put an icon on here. This is our weekend. And that's all I'm going to put. Oops. That's all I'm going to put right now because that's all I really know. I don't know anything about Joshua's schedule or anything like that yet. So I can't really put that or dinner options or anything like that yet. But I'm sure we'll get there. But this is what it's looking like so far. So it's not too bad for dipping our feet back into filming and all of the things. So I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying to lift my head up. So definitely leave me some comments because I need to interact with you guys. I need you to help me pull myself out of this mess. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.